All right. Hi, I'm Greg Cummings, CEO of Power100, and your host today is PowerChat. We're super pumped. We have Scott Berman of Florida Window and Door and Jamey Vumback of Get the Referral, aka GTR. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, how are you?
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. So today I just kind of want to talk a little bit about the industry as a whole and what you all are seeing out there, and maybe if we can help people stay ahead of any curve and off past experience. So if it's all right, you guys, for the people that don't know you, you want to do a brief intro of your company and who you are. Scott, if you want to start, if we can start with you.
Sure. Scott Berman, president of Florida Window and Door. We specialize in hurricane-resistant products throughout the state of Florida. We install over $100 million business, and we're happy to be here.
Good deal.
Okay. And I'm Jamey Vumback, CEO and founder of Get the Referral, and proud partner with Scott. He's been a customer of ours for quite a few years, and just been a great partnership. So great to be here, and looking forward to sharing a little bit about kind of what we're seeing from our side.
Cool. Yeah, we're pumped too, and I think this conversation is going to be very valuable for a lot of people. Regardless of what your perspective is in the home improvement industry. Jamey, first of all, if I could start with you, I'm curious from you have a very unique vantage point here, because you're looking down at the industry with all the information that you have at your fingertips, how much actual revenue is coming in from referrals, and how that the lead source is kind of maybe moving as we go into this year, which is a big difference. There's a lot of concern of a lot of people right now. When are the leads going to go? We're in the middle, or about to be in the middle of an election year, and as we know, pockets tend to tighten. But great companies always gain ground in times like this, where companies that don't have the foundation, tools, resources, and technology, they're going to lose ground. So from your vantage point, how important, can you give us kind of an overview of what you're seeing with your technology and Get the Referral, and how that maybe leads into the election year?
Yeah, no, I definitely have a vantage point that I think is unique in that, we talk to a lot of different companies, whether it's a small, 2-man shop up to, 500 sales reps. And we're talking to, CEOs, we're talking to leaders in the business. And what's happening is, it's funny, like one of the things that I, kind of keep a close eye on is our retention and keeping our customers. And, over the last 10 years of doing this, I probably had less than 5 bankruptcy notices over the several years of doing this, right? Like we get a notice, hey, this company's going bankrupt. 5 and 10 years. In the last 6 months, I've gotten at least 10. Okay, that's saying something out there. And to your point, I think the strong will survive, and that's always been the case. The fact that the companies that are well positioned from a process perspective, well capitalized, have a good process in place, those folks are going to take advantage of these times. And it's been a little scary from that standpoint to see so many of these smaller companies going out of business. But I think it's just natural, and it kind of just it's part of how our economy works and what's happening out there. And so it's been really interesting in talking to these CEOs and presidents and others that are running these big companies and small companies. The common theme throughout all of this is lead generation, right? I mean, they have a lot of other pain points that we talk about, but lead generation comes down to, what's my cost per acquisition and what's my cost per lead, and how do I manage that in a way that is more effective than we have in the past. During COVID, leads were bountiful, right? That was not a problem growing during COVID. And so what we're seeing now are things that are changing in the economy, election year coming up. There's a lot of unknowns. And so it's certainly, a question of, how do I either maintain my lead cost and cost per acquisition, or how do I, reduce it and not increase it? And so that's been the kind of conversations I've been having. One of the main things that we're seeing is with regards to, TCPA and consent law. I think that is a game changer. And I have a lot of friends and other partners, partnerships with lead aggregators out there, and they're concerned, right? They're concerned with what's going to happen where with the TCPA, and I'm not an expert on it, but what I do know about it is where a lead aggregator is generating leads and selling them to multiple companies. That cannot happen any longer. And so what they need to do now is find a way to be able to continue to generate leads, but generate more leads, because they can only sell that one lead to one person that gives them consent to converse with that individual company. So that's going to change the landscape of lead generation, I think, from here on in. And so companies are coming to us, and these conversations that we're having is, how can I get more referrals, right? How can I get more word of mouth? And what I found over the last several years of doing this and being a business owner myself as a solar company, word of mouth is just something that's always been there. And it's been something that's been a big piece of a lot of companies' business. And it's obviously the best leads. It's going to give you the, highest, close ratio. There's less, competition at the kitchen table. They're less price sensitive too, because they're really looking to build a relationship with somebody that they know did a good job for their friend or family. So word of mouth is awesome. And if you look through the years, and I'm dating myself, but back in the late 80s, I was in the Yellow Page industry, right? For those of you that remember Yellow Pages, they're not they're not so prevalent any longer. But there was a lot of different ways to generate leads back in the 80s and the 90s. And when you look at that and the transition to the internet in the early 2000s, if you were to, capsulize each decade, word of mouth was in each one of those decades, where some of these other medias are gone, right? Or pivoted to something different. And so, but the one common, lead generation opportunity was word of mouth. And so really for me, what I'm trying to do this year is really focus on helping business owners really create a lead channel out of referrals and out of word of mouth. Like, take it out of yeah, I get a lot of word of mouth. Yeah, 10 to 15% of my business comes from word of mouth. I want to turn this around and really maximize that opportunity and go from 15% to 30 or 40 or even 50% of their business coming from word of mouth. And the only way that you're going to do that is utilizing some sort of technology and process that allows you to be able to track, make it easy for your customers to refer, build out an affiliate program with not just your customers, but real estate agents, other companies that you work with, and maximize those relationships that you have from your former customers, from your new customers. Continue to provide them with a great experience, and they're going to be more than willing to refer you to others, right?